Black Land Matters.
Well, yeah, there you go. Black Land Matters. My name is Lizzie Jarrett. I'm a proud Gumbaynggirr, Bundjalung and Dunghutti woman, which are countries found on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. I currently benefit and have the privilege of living on the land we're on right now, the Gadigal people. So I'd like to reach out and give acknowledgement to country right now, acknowledging the fact that we are here on stolen land. Sovereignty was never ever ceded. Acknowledging the fact that Gadigal country is ground zero of the genocide of the First Nations people that started way back in the 1700s when Lieutenant James Cook and all his thieves, rapists and murderers decided to come and found the land now labelled White Australia to the rest of the world, acknowledging the heartache, the pain, the sorrow, but then also flipping the switch to acknowledging the resistance that is our existence, that we are here today still proud, still black, still loud, still loving, and still a people of peace. Cultural protocol is a very complex conversation to have, to be truthful. It starts with learning what land you are on and understanding the cultural respects of being privileged to be on that land. Cultural protocol is also learning the simple fact of learning and listening to your First Nations people that you can find in your community, if not in your community, outside communities as you have children that go to school, learning to reach out to First Nations people in your community, understanding the struggles they have, the struggles they've overcome, and the struggles that you, as a non-First Nations people, can align with to help to make sure that they feel culturally safe upon their own lands. Being a cultural protocol in a space of what we are talking about today, the Red Rattler, it's meaning to understand the safety you must bring as a privilege you bring into this place. The safety of understanding the cultural effects and intergenerational trauma that we carry as First Nations people today as what we call not exactly lost people, but like we are the first internal refugees. Like I live here as an internal refugee. I'm no longer on my land as we have no land. As you understand that Australia is now Australia. So cultural protocol for me is really about learning and listening, sitting down and taking that time of understanding, as I've said, the struggle, the alliance of who you should be as a non-First Nations person, and the support you need to bring. Do not come here as cultural protocol and tell me or tell any other First Nations person that you know better, that we must listen to you. This is how we do things. That is against total cultural protocol. If you come to a space that is safe for First Nations people, you must take upon yourself that you are under them. Our sovereignty was never ceded. Our culture reigns supreme. And as for our culture of being told what to do and how to do it by a white piece of paper, that is against all protocols that anyone should stand for. Welcome to country is the most highest honour and privilege you can have of a person that's not on their country. It's usually and respectfully should be given by local traditional owners, and it's something that is given as a heartfelt message to let you know that you are welcomed here, you are safe to be here, and that we are proud as a people to now have you here as our friends, as our allies, or even as our foes. Acknowledgement to country is an undertaking of welcome to country, which can be more or less done by anybody as long as you've done your research, you understand the land you're on, you understand the language and the people that have been here before you, and you must address yourself as acknowledgement to country with true meaning of your heart and soul. Do not do an acknowledgement to country, in my opinion, from a piece of paper, where it's just a written off thing like as parliamentaries will do every day as they sit for parliament, acknowledge traditional owners, yet still desecrate lands, still steal our children, still murder our people, still put us all in a space of poverty. So acknowledgement to country can be done by anybody as long as you've done your research to understand the land you are on, and also if you are a bit worried about how to do it, research with your community. Find a First Nations person. It's not that hard to do. If you get out of your little box of privilege, you will find there's a lot of us that live around these areas in your community where you can be guided with full reassurance of safety and cultural protocol. One time that actually sticks out in my brain was the Racism Not Welcome event, which was held at Addison Road Community Centre. I felt safe as a First Nations person coming there with my perspective and understanding that people were going to listen to me, but also with the throwback effect of respect that I was there to listen to them, and we were all trying to move forward as a people, as you say, with exactly a people forward in understanding of racism is not welcome in this country. Racism is the reason that we call it White Australia today. So yeah, Racism Not Welcome was one of the events that I've been to that followed proper cultural protocol that made sure everyone, not just First Nations, but all cultures felt safe in that space to bring their stories, to bring their heartache. Many events here held at Red Rattler, obviously, have brought a lot of cultural safety to our people. Not all of them, to be honest, but a lot of them have. Sister Nancy came here, and it was really loving to see how people understood, that a black matriarch that had been in the music system for so many years, battling against the colonialism, putting her music out there, putting her voice of song, dance, message of people coming together in consciousness, and to know that everyone supported it and felt safe in the space. It was really, really a great night one of the memories that I'll cherish forever. There's been many others, but they're the two that sit with me as top notch. The effect of giving an acknowledgement to country without doing the research, to me, is just a slap in the face. It's just being a ticker box. I've done my bit. I'm privileged. I can get up there and just say, I acknowledge that traditional owners, what are you acknowledging? What exactly are you acknowledging if you don't even know the land you are upon? And if you have to read it from a paper as a direct script, to me that is not acknowledging anything. Acknowledgement to country has to come, as I've said earlier, from your heart, from your perspective as being that person of privilege, of being the first voice that's heard in the room to make sure people understand where they are sitting, what country they're on, and how they should behave and what respect they need to show. Points on what you should do. Learn what country you're on. Well, for event organisers, it would be a preference that you did reach out and try and find local traditional owners. It's not that hard to do. If you have difficulty doing it, you can contact us at the First Nations Advisory Board at Red Rattler. We can put you in the right direction of First Nation traditional owners here to make sure you are given guidance. Another point that you should do while learning your country on, do not look for Google. Step out in your community and actually learn what land you're on, because if you don't know what land you're on, maybe you're not really acknowledging the true fact of what you're trying to say to the people in the crowd. It should be taken upon yourself as like an ultimate honour and privilege. It's pretty easy to go to your community, find a First Nations person, come to a rally, come to an event held at Red Rattler. You can understand the way of how to do your acknowledgement to country. The main thing to me is do not do it scripted. Research yourself, get up there and put your heart on your sleeve and show what you're truly acknowledging to be the fact of this land always was and always will be First Nations land. That's a hard one to swallow sometimes, to be honest. But audiences need to take into the truth and reality of the land they're on. If someone is speaking to you about it being acknowledgement to a country, take it into your heart. Take it into your mind. Take it into your lifestyle. Take it into your learning. Take it into your teaching for your children or your friends or your Uber driver, anybody that comes into your life, to understand what an acknowledgement country means to the person saying it, and then take it into you as you will in your stride and understanding the respect you've been shown, the privilege you have, and go forward in life understanding that you now have a better consciousness of understanding what land you're on and how you should step forward as being a privileged person. When cultural protocol is not followed, it's a massive ripple effect. It's not just one effect, to be honest. It causes havoc. It causes total disrespect. Anti-cultural protocol is why we have White Australia today. There was no cultural protocol shown to our people way back when, and sadly today you have all these parliamentarians that want to say they're doing the right thing for First Nations people, but they're not. So to go against any cultural protocol on the land you are on, or on any visiting land you are on, is to me like using the Lord's name in vain if you're a Christian listening to me. It's a total no-no. It's something that you need to take upon yourself and understand white, black, or brindle, whichever mixed person you are or whatever you identify as, understanding the cultural significance of the land you are on and the protocol you must follow is essential. So to not do it is just, as I said, causes havoc, a ripple effect of, a distaste between First Nations people, a distaste between First Nations allies that have been taught and learnt and listened to the protocol and what it means to be in that space. So to not follow cultural protocol is, more or less coming to Invasion Day with an Australian flag. Appropriate ways to approach First Nations people to do welcome or acknowledgement to country firstly comes with simply having a respectful yarn. Approach us. We are not your enemy. We are your friends. We are your people. I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to sound up myself or audacious, but we are the ones that know better. We've sat, we've listened, we've learned. That's traditional in my house every day as myself. If you have an elder in your space, you make sure you accommodate to them. You listen, you learn. You have children in your space, you make sure you're giving them the right teachings. What not to do to approach First Nations people is to expect them to just be at your beck and call. Do not come to us and expect us just to have your answers and guide you until you've given us the respect that you are willing to actually take upon what we're going to say and guide you with. You're actually going to sit there and listen and learn. Do not butt in. Do not, reiterate what I'm trying to say to you and say, oh, but this sounds this way. And no. What to do, listen and learn. What not to do is to try and tell us how to do it. You know better, like you don't. A guide to acknowledgement to country. First and foremost, know what land you're on. If you are worried about the pronunciation of the word, seek your people out in the local community. Make sure you're showing true respect. Don't get up there on a microphone to acknowledgement to country, as I said, like parliamentarians or like, just I'm here as a privileged person and I'm ticking the black box. Our black people don't belong in boxes. We don't come from boxes. We are the people of a circle with respect. So you come with us with respect and we can guide you and you can learn. Like I said, knowing the land you're on is the first and foremost thing you need to do during acknowledgement. Second thing you must do, make it come from your heart. We want to hear it come from you. We want to know what you really, truly are up there as an individual acknowledging, not just a write of a script that someone else written in you and it sounds good, it looks good, this is what I'm going to run with. That's not acknowledging anything except for that you're a privileged little something. Most important thing you need to do to be behind us, with us, is know your community. Get out there and reach out to, First Nations people. Don't walk past them in the street when you see them maybe not looking 100% like you are. Reach out, find where people are, find their struggles. And if maybe you're not the extrovert person and don't trust meeting strangers, these days we all have social media. You have a tool in your hand, it's called a phone, a computer, a laptop, where you can Google, which is something I go against, but when it comes to things like this, where you can find yourself in your own safe space of your compound to learn things until you're ready to come out to the world to us and face us on a face-to-face basis and have these conversations, sit around a circle and feel welcomed. Get out there and research, There's many, many, many First Nations organisations out there that need your support, need your help. It's on you to be out there to find them. They're not hard to find. As I've said, social media these days is a tool to finding anyone, anything, from a Tinder date to a best friend. So I'm sure along the way in the middle, you can find a black organisation where you can find yourself the privilege and the benefit of honouring to help them out with money. Money is a big thing. To make change, we don't just need change. We need your hard-earned dollars. We need the land back. We need repatriation. We need compensation. And that's just not being about money hungry. That might be the Australian way of life. But today, for First Nations people to be where we are meant to be on the structural ladder of traditional owners and respected in our full circle of life, we need to have all of the benefits that you receive. Daring dang. In the language of my Gumbaynggirr people, I thank you for listening to me, Lizzie Jarrett, coming to you from the Red Rattler, the best space ever known in Sydney, on Gadigal lands. So the main things I teach my children, teach anyone to come to my life, the only fail is not to try. The main three things you must do in life is listen, learn, laugh, and give our land back.